Welcome to Lucky English for Beginners. Practicing daily conversation is a fantastic way to build your fluency and connect with others. Here are 700 new and different sentences for everyday English, organized by category to help you study and speak with confidence. Morning routines and starting the day. My alarm clock rings at 6 in the morning. I hit the snooze button just one time today. I stretch my arms and legs before getting out of bed. I open the curtains to let the sunlight in. The morning air feels very crisp and cool. I walk to the bathroom to wash my face. I brush my teeth for 2 whole minutes. I use cold water to wake myself up completely. I dry my face with a clean cotton towel. I comb my hair and look in the mirror. I decide to take a quick warm shower. The hot water helps relax my stiff muscles. I wrap a towel around myself and step out. I put on my comfortable casual clothes for the day. I choose a simple blue shirt and dark jeans. I walk into the kitchen to start the coffee maker. The smell of fresh coffee fills the entire house. I pour myself a large mug of black coffee. I crack 2 eggs into the frying pan. I toast a slice of whole wheat bread. I spread a little butter on my warm toast. I sit at the dining table to eat my breakfast. I eat slowly and enjoy the quiet morning. I read the daily news on my smartphone. I wash my empty plate and coffee mug in the sink. I wipe the kitchen counter with a damp cloth. I pack my lunch in a small plastic container. I put my lunch inside my work bag. I double-check that I have my house keys. I make sure my wallet is in my back pocket. I grab my light jacket from the hall closet. I sit on the bench to tie my shoelaces. I open the front door and step outside. I lock the door behind me and check the handle. I walk down the driveway toward my car. I unlock my car using the remote key fob. I start the engine and let the car warm up. I turn on the radio to listen to the morning show. I adjust the rearview mirror before driving away. I back out of the driveway very carefully. I drive slowly through my quiet neighborhood. I stop at the red traffic light and wait. I watch the pedestrians crossing the street safely. I merge onto the busy morning highway. I listen to an educational podcast while driving. I drink some water from my travel bottle. I check the fuel gauge on my dashboard. I use my turn signal to change lanes safely. I pull into the office parking lot. I find a parking space near the main entrance. I turn off the engine and grab my bag. I lock my car doors as I walk away. I greet the security guard at the front desk. I swipe my badge to open the office door. I walk into the break room to greet my coworkers. I say good morning to my office manager. I sit down at my desk and turn on the computer. I type in my password to unlock the screen. I open my email application to check my messages. I read through the urgent emails first. I delete the junk mail from my inbox. I reply to a message from my team leader. I open my digital calendar to view my schedule. I notice I have a meeting at 10 o'clock. I write down a quick list of tasks for the day. I prioritize the most difficult task on my list. I organize the loose papers on my desk. I adjust my chair to sit up straight. I take a deep breath and start my work. I feel completely ready for a productive day. Home life and household chores. I need to clean the entire house this weekend. I start by gathering all the dirty laundry. I sort the clothes into darks and lights. I load the washing machine with the white clothes. I pour the liquid detergent into the dispenser. I set the washing machine to the normal cycle. I press the start button and listen to the water run. I walk into the living room to tidy up. I fluff the pillows on the living room sofa. I fold the blankets and place them in the basket. I use a feather duster to clean the wooden shelves. I dust off the television screen and the speakers. I pick up the old magazines from the coffee table. I vacuum the living room carpet thoroughly. I make sure to vacuum under the sofa cushions. I move into the kitchen to clean the appliances. I spray cleaner on the glass stovetop. I wipe the stovetop until it shines brightly. I empty the trash can into a large plastic garbage bag. I tie the garbage bag and take it outside. I place a fresh bag inside the kitchen trash can. I load the dirty plates into the dishwasher. I add soap to the dishwasher and turn it on. I sweep the kitchen floor with a bristled broom. I use a wet mop to mop the kitchen tiles. I wash the bathroom sink with a sponge. I scrub the bathtub until all the soap scum is gone. I clean the bathroom mirror with glass cleaner. I replace the empty toilet paper roll. I put fresh hand towels on the towel rack. I hear the washing machine beep from the laundry room. I move the wet clothes into the dryer. I clean the lint trap before starting the dryer. I go to my bedroom to make the bed. I pull the sheets tight and smooth out the wrinkles. I arrange the decorative pillows at the head of the bed. I put my clean clothes away in the wooden dresser. I hang my nice shirts in the bedroom closet. I match my socks and roll them into pairs. I slide the closet door shut. I walk out to the backyard to check the plants. I grab the green watering can from the porch. I water the potted flowers near the back door. I pull a few weeds from the garden bed. I sweep the fallen leaves off the back patio. I refill the bird feeder with fresh seeds. I sit on the patio chair to rest for a moment. I listen to the sound of the wind chimes. I go back inside and wash my hands. I dry my hands on a clean kitchen towel. I check the refrigerator to see what we need. I write a grocery list on a piece of paper. I realize we are completely out of milk. I add fresh eggs and butter to my list. I check the pantry for rice and pasta. I organize the spice rack so everything is visible. I wipe down the inside of the refrigerator. I throw away a box of expired food. I put the grocery list inside my wallet. I feel accomplished after doing all these chores. I light a scented candle on the kitchen counter. The whole house smells like fresh lavender. I turn on the ceiling fan to circulate the air. I sit on the couch and turn on the television. I watch a home improvement show for ideas. I drink a cold glass of water while resting. I check the thermostat to adjust the house temperature. I close the window blinds as the sun goes down. I turn off the television and head to the bedroom. I feel proud of my clean and organized home. Work, office, and careers. Our team has a staff meeting every Monday morning. I bring my notebook to the conference room. My manager starts the meeting by sharing the agenda. We discuss the progress of our current projects. I give a brief update on my recent tasks. I take notes while my colleagues share their reports. We brainstorm new ideas for the upcoming quarter. The meeting ends after exactly 45 minutes. I return to my desk to answer a client email. I attach a document to my email reply. I carefully proofread my message before pressing send. I receive a notification from the group chat. My coworker asks for my help with a spreadsheet. I walk over to his desk to look at his screen. I show him how to use a specific formula. He thanks me for my quick assistance. I go to the printer to pick up my documents. The printer is completely out of white paper. I grab a fresh pack of paper from the supply closet. I load the paper tray and restart the print job. I staple the printed pages together in the corner. I place the document in a blue presentation folder. I hand the folder to the company director. I receive a phone call from an important supplier. I answer the phone professionally and state my name. I write down the supplier's contact information. I promise to call him back before the day ends. I look at the wall clock and notice it is lunchtime. I grab my lunch bag and head to the cafeteria. I sit with my team and we talk about our weekend plans. I heat my leftover pasta in the office microwave. I clean the microwave plate after using it. I finish my lunch and wash my fork in the sink. I return to my desk feeling refreshed and ready. I spend the afternoon creating a slide presentation. I add colorful charts to make the data clear. I choose a professional font for all the text. I save the presentation to the shared network drive. I ask my supervisor to review my final draft. She gives me excellent feedback on my work. I make a few minor changes to the slides. I prepare an invoice for a freelance contractor. I double-check the total amount on the invoice. I send the invoice to the accounting department. I organize my physical files in the filing cabinet. I shred some old documents containing sensitive data. I clear the empty coffee cups from my desk. I check my calendar for tomorrow's scheduled events. I see that I have a performance review coming up. I write down some goals I want to discuss. I feel confident about the work I have done this year. I close all the open tabs on my internet browser. I sign out of my company messaging account. I push my chair in under the wooden desk. I turn off my desk lamp and computer monitor. I wave goodbye to my coworkers across the room. I leave the office building at exactly 5 o'clock. I swipe my badge to exit through the main lobby. I feel satisfied with everything I accomplished today. I look forward to relaxing at home this evening. My career is very challenging, but also very rewarding. I am constantly learning new skills in my industry. I attend online seminars to improve my knowledge. I network with other professionals on social media. I always keep my resume updated with my achievements. I value a healthy balance between work and life. My company provides excellent benefits for employees. I appreciate having supportive and kind colleagues. I try to be a helpful mentor to the new interns. I am highly motivated to succeed in my career. School, learning, and education. I carry a heavy backpack full of textbooks. I walk into the large university lecture hall. I find an empty seat in the second row. I take out my laptop to type my notes. The professor begins the lecture on modern history. She shows us a map of ancient trade routes. I highlight important dates and names on my screen. I raise my hand to ask a clarifying question. The professor explains the concept very clearly to me. I write down her explanation word for word. The bell rings to signal the end of the class. I pack up my laptop and zip my bag shut. I walk across the campus to the main library. The library is very quiet and peaceful inside. I scan my student identity card at the entrance. I find a private study desk near the window. I open my chemistry textbook to chapter 4. I read the chapter and underline the key terms. I solve several practice equations on scratch paper. I check my answers in the back of the book. I meet with my assigned study group at 3. We reserve a small study room on the second floor. We discuss the upcoming group project assignment. We divide the research tasks equally among us. I volunteer to write the final introduction paragraph. We agree to meet again next Tuesday afternoon. I log into the student portal to check my grades. I am happy to see I got an excellent score on my essay. I send an email to my English literature tutor. I ask her for feedback on my latest draft. Education is the key to unlocking future opportunities. I always try to submit my assignments on time. I never skip class unless I am feeling sick. I participate actively in all classroom discussions. I enjoy listening to different perspectives from students. I take an elective course in digital photography. Learning a new skill requires patience and practice. I make flashcards to memorize foreign language vocabulary. I review my flashcards while riding the bus. I watch educational documentaries during my free time. I read articles about science and technology innovations. I keep a dedicated notebook for my creative writing. I practice speaking English in front of a mirror. I record my voice to check my pronunciation accuracy. I listen to native speakers to learn the natural rhythm. I am not afraid to make mistakes while learning. Mistakes are simply stepping stones to greater success. I ask for help when I do not understand something. I use highlighters to color code my study materials. I create a study schedule 2 weeks before exams. I take short breaks to avoid mental fatigue. I drink plenty of water to keep my brain focused. I avoid cramming all the information the night before. I get a full 8 hours of sleep before a test. I eat a nutritious breakfast on exam mornings. I read the test instructions very carefully before starting. I answer the easiest questions on the test first. I review my answers before handing in the paper. I feel a huge sense of relief after an exam. I celebrate finishing the semester with my friends. I return my rented textbooks to the campus bookstore. I register for my classes for the upcoming semester. I read the course syllabus to know the expectations. I buy a new planner to organize my homework dates. I set academic goals for myself every single year. I aim to graduate with honors in my major. I apply for a summer internship to gain experience. I build a professional portfolio of my best work. I am proud of the dedication I show to my studies. Learning is a lifelong journey that never truly ends. Food, cooking, and dining out. I am preparing a delicious dinner for my family. I wash the fresh vegetables under cold running water. I place a wooden cutting board on the kitchen counter. I use a sharp chef knife to chop the carrots. I dice a large white onion into small pieces. I crush 2 cloves of garlic with the knife blade. I pour a tablespoon of olive oil into the skillet. I turn the stove burner onto medium heat. I add the chopped onions and garlic to the warm pan. The sizzling onions smell absolutely wonderful right now. I season the vegetables with salt and black pepper. I add a pinch of dried oregano to the mixture. I stir the ingredients constantly with a wooden spoon. I pour tomato sauce into the pan and let it simmer. I bring a large pot of salted water to boil. I drop the spaghetti noodles into the boiling water. I set a kitchen timer for exactly 9 minutes. I drain the cooked pasta in a metal colander. I mix the hot pasta directly into the tomato sauce. I grate fresh Parmesan cheese over the top of the dish. I set the dining table with clean white plates. I place the silverware neatly beside the folded napkins. I pour ice water into clear glass tumblers. We sit down together to enjoy the home-cooked meal. The pasta is cooked perfectly and tastes amazing. We talk about our day while eating the warm food. I serve a slice of chocolate cake for our dessert. We decide to go out to a restaurant on Friday night. I call ahead to make a reservation for 2 people. The hostess greets us warmly at the front door. She guides us to a quiet booth near the back window. The waiter hands us the leather-bound dinner menus. He asks if we would like to start with any beverages. I order a glass of sparkling water with a lemon wedge. We look over the appetizer section of the menu. I suggest we share a plate of crispy calamari. I decide to order the grilled salmon for my main course. My partner orders the roasted chicken with vegetables. The waiter writes down our order on a small notepad. He brings us a basket of warm bread and butter. The restaurant atmosphere is very cozy and romantic. Soft instrumental music plays quietly in the background. Our food arrives quickly and looks beautifully plated. The grilled salmon is tender and flakes apart easily. I squeeze fresh lemon juice over the top of my fish. The waiter checks to see if our food is satisfactory. I tell him that everything tastes absolutely delicious. We finish our meals and decline the dessert menu. I ask the waiter to bring the final check to the table. I leave a generous tip on the table for the excellent service. We walk out of the restaurant feeling very full and happy. I love trying new recipes and expanding my cooking skills. I watch cooking shows to learn different chef techniques. I try to eat a balanced diet with lots of fresh produce. I limit how much fast food I eat during the busy work week. I prefer baking my own bread instead of buying it. I enjoy the smell of yeast and flour in my kitchen. I use a slow cooker to make tender beef stew in the winter. I enjoy hosting dinner parties for my close friends. I always ask my guests about their dietary restrictions first. I love exploring ethnic grocery stores for unique spices. I buy fresh basil and cilantro from the local market. I drink a hot cup of green tea to help my digestion. I try to avoid eating heavy meals right before bedtime. I keep my kitchen pantry organized with clear glass jars. I freeze my leftover food to eat on busy weeknights. I enjoy eating breakfast foods for dinner occasionally. A simple grilled cheese sandwich is my ultimate comfort food. I love the crunch of toasted sourdough bread with melted butter. Food has a wonderful way of bringing people closer together. Health, exercise, and well-being. I wake up early to start my daily exercise routine. I lay out my blue yoga mat on the living room floor. I sit cross-legged and take several deep, calming breaths. I stretch my arms high above my head toward the ceiling. I bend down slowly to touch my toes and stretch my legs. I hold the stretching pose for 30 seconds. I perform 20 jumping jacks to get my heart rate up. I change into my running shoes and lightweight activewear. I step outside and begin to jog down the paved sidewalk. The morning air is refreshing and gives me instant energy. I run at a steady pace to build my cardiovascular endurance. I listen to an upbeat music playlist to stay highly motivated. I smile at the other joggers I pass along the trail. I complete a full 3-mile run around the neighborhood park. I walk the last block to cool down my body temperature. I drink a large glass of cold water as soon as I get home. I wipe the sweat from my forehead with a small, clean towel. I eat a protein bar to help my tired muscles recover quickly. I believe that physical fitness is vital for a happy lifestyle. I try to maintain a consistent workout schedule every week. I go to the local gym to lift weights on Tuesday afternoons. I focus on my upper body strength using heavy dumbbells. I always make sure to use the proper form to prevent injuries. I ask the gym instructor for advice on my lifting technique. I wipe down the gym equipment with a sanitizing wipe after using it. I prefer working out in the morning before my brain gets tired. Mental health is just as crucial as physical health to me. I practice mindfulness meditation to clear away my daily stress. I write 3 things I am grateful for in my journal every night. I disconnect from my phone an hour before going to sleep. I turn off all the bright lights to help my brain naturally relax. I make sure my bedroom is cool, dark, and perfectly quiet. I prioritize getting 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep each night. I schedule regular checkups with my primary care doctor. I visit the dentist every 6 months for a professional cleaning. I brush my teeth twice a day and floss every single evening. I wash my hands with warm water and soap to prevent illnesses. I stay home and rest in bed when I am feeling sick or feverish. I drink hot tea with honey and lemon to soothe a sore throat. I take my prescribed medication exactly as the doctor instructed. I eat a colorful variety of fruits and vegetables every single day. I limit my intake of processed sugars and heavy artificial snacks. I carry a reusable water bottle everywhere to stay fully hydrated. I take brief walking breaks when I am sitting at my desk all day. I adjust my computer monitor to avoid straining my neck and eyes. I wear sunglasses and a hat to protect my skin from the bright sun. I apply sunscreen lotion whenever I spend time outside in the summer. I enjoy taking long, peaceful walks in nature to completely unwind. I listen to the calming sound of the wind blowing through the trees. I believe that spending time outdoors significantly improves my mood. I surround myself with positive friends who support my goals. I talk to a trusted friend when I am feeling emotionally overwhelmed. I am not afraid to ask for professional help when I truly need it. I practice saying no to things that drain my time and mental energy. I schedule dedicated time just to relax and do absolutely nothing. I treat my body with the utmost respect and care every day. I focus on how strong I feel rather than just how I look in the mirror. I challenge myself to try a new physical activity every few months. I joined a local community swimming pool to practice doing laps. Swimming is incredibly gentle on my joints and very relaxing. I enjoy the weightless feeling of floating quietly in the cool water. I dry off with a large towel and change in the locker room. I feel a wonderful sense of accomplishment after a good workout. I track my daily fitness progress using a simple notebook. I reward myself with a relaxing hot bath after a stressful week. I add bath salts to the warm water to soothe my aching muscles. I listen to my body and rest completely when I am physically tired. I understand that recovery is a vital part of staying completely healthy. I wake up every day feeling grateful for my health and mobility. I commit to making choices that support my long-term well-being. Travel, commuting, and directions. I am packing my heavy suitcase for an exciting weekend trip. I neatly fold my clothes and place them inside the luggage. I make sure to pack my toothbrush and travel-sized toothpaste. I zip the suitcase closed and carry it out to the front porch. I check the train schedule on my mobile phone application. I walk quickly to the train station to avoid missing my departure. I buy a round-trip ticket from the automated electronic kiosk. I scan my paper ticket at the turnstile and walk to the platform. I stand behind the yellow safety line while waiting for the train. The loud train arrives at the station exactly on schedule. I step onto the train car and find an empty window seat. I put my heavy bag on the overhead luggage rack above me. I sit back and watch the city buildings blur past the window. The conductor walks down the aisle to check everyone's tickets. I listen to the automated voice announce the upcoming stations. I grab my bag and exit the train when we reach my destination. I walk out of the bustling station and into the bright sunlight. I use the digital map on my phone to find the correct hotel. I walk 3 blocks north and turn left at the traffic light. I cross the busy street using the designated pedestrian crosswalk. I see the tall hotel building at the end of the narrow street. I walk through the sliding glass doors into the hotel lobby. I approach the front desk to check into my reserved room. The receptionist hands me a plastic key card for room 3. I take the elevator up to the 3rd floor of the building. I swipe my key card and push the heavy wooden door open. I drop my suitcase on the floor and fall back onto the soft bed. I decide to go out and explore the historical city center. I stop a local resident to ask for directions to the museum. He tells me to go straight ahead and take the 2nd right. I thank him politely and follow his exact verbal directions. I take a photograph of the beautiful statues in the town square. I buy a paper map from a small tourist information booth. I circle the famous landmarks I want to visit before I leave. I decide to rent a bicycle to travel around the city faster. I put on a safety helmet and adjust the height of the bike seat. I ride carefully along the paved bicycle path near the river. I lock the bicycle to a metal rack outside the art gallery. I spend 2 hours looking at the magnificent classical paintings. I buy a bus pass to travel to the outer suburbs of the city. I wait at the bus stop under the shade of a large oak tree. I board the red bus and pay my fare with a handful of coins. I press the stop button when I see my desired destination approaching. I exit through the rear doors and walk toward the botanical gardens. I enjoy traveling, because it exposes me to entirely new experiences. I try to learn a few basic phrases in the local language when I visit. Saying hello and thank you goes a long way in a foreign country. I always keep a physical copy of my passport in my backpack. I double-check my flight departure time the night before I leave. I arrive at the international airport 3 hours before my flight. I wait in a long line to drop off my checked luggage at the counter. I place my shoes and jacket in the plastic bin at security. I walk through the metal detector and gather my personal belongings. I check the large digital departures board to find my correct gate. I buy a bottle of water and a magazine before boarding the plane. I hand my boarding pass to the airline attendant at the desk. I walk down the narrow aisle and buckle my airplane seatbelt. I listen carefully to the safety instructions given by the flight crew. I look out the small window as the plane lifts off the runway. I feel a thrill of excitement as I travel to a new destination. Commuting every day teaches me how to be patient with delays. I use my daily commute to listen to language learning podcasts. I always yield to pedestrians when I am driving my own car. I make sure my car has enough fuel before a long highway trip. I check my tire pressure and engine oil before leaving the garage. I use the cruise control feature when driving on the open highway. I stop at a highway rest area to stretch my legs and grab a coffee. I follow the colorful highway signs to stay on the correct route. I use my smartphone GPS to avoid areas with heavy traffic congestion. Traveling opens my mind and fills my life with unforgettable memories. Shopping money and consumer goods. I grab a metal shopping cart near the entrance of the supermarket. I pull out my handwritten grocery list from my jacket pocket. I walk straight to the produce section to buy fresh vegetables. I carefully select 3 bright red apples and a bunch of bananas. I check the expiration date on the carton of milk before buying it. I compare the prices of 2 different brands of breakfast cereal. I choose the store brand because it is significantly cheaper today. I push my cart down the aisle to find a bag of brown rice. I wait patiently in the checkout line behind 2 other customers. I place all my groceries onto the moving black conveyor belt. The cashier scans each item and bags them in reusable cloth bags. I insert my credit card into the machine to pay for my groceries. I take my printed receipt and put my credit card back in my wallet. I load the heavy grocery bags into the trunk of my car outside. I need to buy a new pair of winter boots at the shopping mall. I walk into the large shoe store and browse the clearance section. I find a pair of waterproof leather boots in my exact size. I sit on the bench and try both boots on with thick winter socks. I walk around the store to make sure they feel totally comfortable. I bring the shoebox to the register and pay with a crisp folded bill. The cashier hands me my exact change and a friendly smile. I prefer to save my money rather than spending it on impulse buys. I transfer 10% of my paycheck into my savings account. I keep a strict monthly budget to track all of my daily expenses. I cancel digital subscriptions that I no longer actively use. I use a mobile banking application to check my current account balance. I prefer buying high-quality items that will last a very long time. I read customer reviews online before making a major purchase. I wait for holiday sales to buy expensive electronics like televisions. I decided to upgrade my old laptop because it was running too slowly. I compared the specifications of several different laptop models online. I ordered the computer from a trusted website with free shipping. The package arrived at my front door just 2 days later. I carefully opened the cardboard box with a small pair of scissors. I peeled off the protective plastic film from the computer screen. I plugged the charger into the wall and turned the device on. I followed the on-screen instructions to set up my new user profile. I regularly donate my old clothes to the local charity thrift store. I enjoy browsing thrift stores for unique vintage decorations. I found a beautiful antique lamp for only $5 last week. I try to support small local businesses instead of massive corporations. I buy my fresh bread from the independent bakery down the street. I purchase handmade soap from a vendor at the weekend farmer's market. I always carry a little bit of physical cash for small emergencies. I keep my loose coins in a glass jar sitting on my bedroom dresser. I take the full coin jar to the bank once a year to exchange it. I set aside a specific amount of money each month for entertainment. I limit how much money I spend on buying coffee at expensive cafes. I brew my own coffee at home to save an extra $20 a week. I believe that financial discipline brings a profound sense of peace. I try to avoid borrowing money from my friends and family members. I pay off my credit card balance in full at the end of every month. I keep all of my important financial receipts in an organized folder. I file my annual taxes early to avoid any stressful late penalties. I research different investment options to grow my long-term wealth. I am saving up money to eventually buy a small house of my own. I check the price tags carefully before putting anything in my cart. I only buy items that I truly need or that bring me immense joy. I return defective merchandise to the store for a full cash refund. I ask the store clerk to point me toward the customer service desk. I explain the problem with the item and show my original receipt. The clerk processes my return quickly without any hassle at all. I am mindful of how my consumption affects the global environment. I buy products with minimal plastic packaging whenever I possibly can. I recycle all of my cardboard boxes and empty glass jars properly. I repair my broken items instead of immediately throwing them away. I sew the missing buttons back onto my favorite winter coat. I glue the broken handle back onto my favorite ceramic coffee mug. I appreciate the material things I already have in my possession. Being a smart consumer makes my life much more organized and calm. Hobbies, entertainment, and free time. I love spending my free time curled up on the couch with a good book. I prefer reading mystery novels with shocking plot twists at the end. I borrow most of my reading material from the local public library. I have a dedicated bookshelf that holds all my favorite classic stories. I use a decorative metal bookmark so I never lose my exact page. I enjoy listening to upbeat music while I am cleaning the apartment. I create customized digital playlists for different moods and activities. I play the acoustic guitar for a few minutes every single evening. I strum the metal strings and sing along to my favorite folk songs. I am currently learning how to play a difficult song by ear. I watch a newly released movie at the cinema almost every Friday. I buy a large bucket of buttery popcorn to share with my friends. I sit in the very middle row to get the best view of the big screen. I enjoy action movies with incredible special effects and fast car chases. I also like watching historical documentaries to learn new fascinating facts. I subscribe to several video streaming services on my smart television. I watch an episode of a funny sitcom before I go to sleep at night. I follow my favorite amateur chefs and bakers on a video sharing website. I try to recreate their complex dessert recipes in my own kitchen. I love baking chocolate chip cookies on a rainy Saturday afternoon. I spend hours working on a massive 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. I sort all the puzzle pieces by color before I start putting them together. I construct the outer border of the puzzle before filling in the middle. I enjoy playing casual video games on my mobile phone during my commute. I play competitive multiplayer games with my friends on the weekend. I communicate with my gaming team using a voice chatting application. I enjoy doing outdoor photography when the weather is bright and sunny. I carry my digital camera in a padded bag to protect the delicate lens. I take photographs of the vibrant blooming flowers in the botanical garden. I adjust the camera settings manually to capture the perfect natural light. I edit my digital photos on my laptop to enhance the hidden colors. I print my favorite photographs and hang them in frames on my wall. I write about my daily life and random thoughts in a leather-bound journal. I use a smooth writing fountain pen to practice my elegant calligraphy. I draw quick sketches of people sitting in the park with a charcoal pencil. I have a large collection of vintage vinyl records that I play on a turntable. I carefully wipe the dust off the records before lowering the metal needle. I enjoy the warm and nostalgic sound of the music filling the living room. I knit warm woolen scarves and give them as gifts to my family members. I use thick blue yarn and 2 long wooden knitting needles for my projects. I attend a pottery class every Wednesday to learn how to throw clay. I use my bare hands to shape the wet clay spinning on the pottery wheel. I glaze my finished ceramic bowls with a shiny waterproof coating. I enjoy exploring completely new hobbies to challenge my creative brain. I signed up for a beginner dance class to learn the traditional salsa. I practice the fast dance steps in my living room to upbeat Latin music. I follow the rhythm of the music and try not to step on my partner's toes. I collect vintage postage stamps from all over the entire world. I organize my rare stamps chronologically in a specialized display album. I go to the local bowling alley with my coworkers once a month. I rent a pair of funny-looking bowling shoes from the front counter. I aim carefully and try to knock down all 10 white bowling pins. I cheer loudly when my teammate scores a perfect strike on their turn. I enjoy playing friendly games of tennis at the neighborhood public court. I serve the yellow tennis ball over the net with a powerful racket swing. I run across the green court to hit the ball back to my opponent. I drink plenty of cold water during breaks to stay completely hydrated. I spend my Sunday afternoons hiking through the dense pine forest. I pack a small backpack with trail mix, water, and a basic first aid kit. I follow the dirt trail markers to ensure I do not get lost in the woods. I take a brief moment to admire the spectacular view from the mountaintop. I listen to the cheerful chirping of the birds hidden in the tall tree canopy. I breathe in the fresh scent of the pine needles and the damp forest soil. I pitch a small canvas tent in the designated camping area before dark. I gather dry branches and twigs to start a warm, crackling campfire. I roast sweet marshmallows on a long wooden stick over the bright flames. I lay on my back and gaze up at the countless stars in the clear night sky. I feel a profound sense of peace when I am surrounded by beautiful nature. I cherish my free time because it allows me to recharge my mental energy. I always make sure to dedicate at least 1 hour a day strictly to my hobbies. Socializing, feelings, and opinions. I am always genuinely thrilled to see my close friends after a long week. I greet my best friend with a tight hug and a very warm, bright smile. We meet at our favorite corner cafe to catch up on each other's lives. I ask her how her new job is going and listen intently to her response. I feel a deep sense of empathy when she talks about her recent struggles. I offer her a few words of encouragement to help lift her heavy spirits. I believe that active listening is the most important part of communication. I try not to interrupt people when they are sharing their personal stories. I express my honest opinions politely, even when I completely disagree. I think it is perfectly acceptable to have differing viewpoints on a topic. I always strive to keep an open mind when entering a heated discussion. I feel quite nervous whenever I have to meet a large group of new people. I take a deep breath and confidently introduce myself to the friendly host. I shake hands firmly and maintain polite eye contact during introductions. I ask open-ended questions to keep the casual conversation flowing naturally. I find that discussing shared hobbies is a great way to break the awkward ice. I feel incredibly grateful for the supportive and kind people in my life. I send short text messages to my family just to let them know I am thinking of them. I write sincere thank you notes when someone does something generous for me. I believe that showing appreciation makes relationships much stronger. I feel a surge of pure joy when I achieve a goal I have worked hard for. I am immensely proud of the personal progress I have made this past year. I occasionally feel overwhelmed when my daily schedule gets too hectic. I know it is perfectly fine to take a mental health day when I feel exhausted. I process my complex emotions by writing my raw thoughts in a private journal. I think crying is a very healthy and natural way to release pent-up sadness. I feel completely relaxed when I am sitting alone in a quiet, empty room. I value my personal solitude just as much as I value socializing with crowds. I believe that maintaining healthy boundaries is essential for inner peace. I politely decline invitations when I know I need an evening to rest at home. I do not feel guilty for prioritizing my own well-being over social obligations. I am constantly amazed by the incredible kindness of complete strangers. I hold the heavy door open for the person walking closely behind me. I smile and say good morning to the people I pass on my neighborhood walk. I think small acts of random kindness can drastically change someone's day. I feel frustrated when people are intentionally rude or inconsiderate to others. I try my best to remain calm and collected during highly stressful situations. I count slowly to 10 in my head before reacting to an upsetting comment. I firmly believe that patience is a virtue that takes daily practice to master. I apologize quickly and sincerely whenever I realize I have made a mistake. I know that admitting fault is a strong sign of maturity and self-awareness. I forgive people who have wronged me because holding grudges is exhausting. I feel a tremendous sense of relief when I finally let go of past resentments. I am incredibly optimistic about what the distant future holds for my life. I focus intensely on the positive aspects of a situation rather than the negatives. I surround myself with cheerful people who inspire me to be a better person. I think laughter is the greatest medicine for a tired and weary soul. I share funny jokes and silly stories to make my friends laugh out loud. I feel deeply inspired when I see people pursuing their lifelong passions. I am motivated to work on my own dreams when I see others succeeding. I believe that everyone has a completely unique and valuable story to share. I enjoy learning about different cultural perspectives from around the globe. I feel a strong sense of connection when I volunteer in my local community. I think giving back to society provides a profound sense of life purpose. I am highly sensitive to the shifting moods and energies of the people around me. I try to be a comforting presence when my loved ones are feeling anxious. I trust my gut intuition when I am faced with a particularly difficult decision. I feel confident in my ability to handle whatever unforeseen challenges arise. I believe that true happiness comes from within, not from material possessions. I find immense satisfaction in the simple, quiet moments of my daily routine. I am absolutely determined to keep growing and evolving as a human being. I embrace sudden changes because they force me to step out of my comfort zone. I feel a deep sense of belonging whenever I am surrounded by my family. I think honesty and mutual trust are the foundation of any good relationship. I cherish the deep, meaningful conversations that last late into the night. I am comfortable being my authentic self without worrying about harsh judgment. I believe that vulnerability is actually a remarkable sign of emotional strength. I feel a wave of deep contentment when I reflect on the beautiful life I have built. I look forward to waking up tomorrow and experiencing a brand new day. I know that speaking my truth with confidence makes my voice truly matter.